Rubithica. I like that. That's cute. Rubithica. Stato. Someone sends their thanks for the letter you wrote and another balloon sticker. Yay! Let me make sure I have all my decorations put up. I got that. Got that. Got that. That. Okay. Oh, I don't have these up. Show the snowman! Oh my god, he's so cute! Oops. Just let that decorate. And the penguin. For sure up to something. Oh my word. So fresh. Okay, I knew I had something to do, so that's cool. View requests. Let's see. What do I want to say? My house flooded about a month ago and I miss home. That's gotta be difficult to cope with. But I'm so confident you will find comfort soon in your space. Once your things are put into place, eventually start to feel like home again. Just be patient with yourself and got you, fam. Thank you. Group hydration break. Yes, everybody take a sip. Yeah, a little more. Yeah, I'm lucky. I have a very large capacity in my mouth that I can, like, drink a lot of water in one go. One big gulp. And, like, that little hack in my genetics makes me so happy. I'm so happy about that. I like being able to take big bites of food and make people go, how though? Just magic. Disappearing acts. I just got some water too. I already brushed my teeth, so no water for me. Oh, that's fair. Okay. What were you up to before I unloaded? Kind words? Yeah, we're playing kind words. I'm jealous. My mouth is small. Oh, yeah. Like it's why my teeth are spaced so neatly apart. There's just a lot of room in my mouth, and you don't know how useful that is until you come across people who have problems with how small this part of their face is, and like it causes so many issues when that area is little. And I don't take my mouth for granted. It's very special. I'm a big fan of it. Plus it talks, and I like the talking. It takes so long to eat. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. No wonder I eat so fast. It's kind of difficult to cope with, but I'm so confident you'll find comfort soon in your new space. Once your things are put into place, you should eventually start to feel like home again. Just be patient with yourself. And I'm getting better at typing on this weird keyboard. Like, I really like the keyboard sound and the feel of the keys, and of course the aesthetic is delightful, but they're flat. They're almost completely flat. Oh my word! I thought I didn't have those. Oh, they're so small I can barely feel them, but yeah, they're there. Yeah, I thought this keyboard didn't have the F and J keys with the little bar on the keys so that you know where the home row is. I did not know. I couldn't even see them. I can't see them with the naked eye. Only when the light hits it a certain way, and I can barely feel them, but there's totally little nodules there. That's so cool. I like this keyboard a little bit more now. I could listen to your typing all day, right? Because I've been recording videos for YouTube, and the recordings of kind words, and it's just a lot of typing, and I cut most of the typing out, but I think I want to create like a long form video of all of my typing into like an ASMR clip video so that people can just listen to my typing for like an hour. And it'll just be like me in different outfits, just one after the other, just me typing. Because I love how this keyboard sounds. I really do. Bree is our up-and-coming YouTube star. Yeah, I have ideas. When I have ideas, they go well. So I'm hopeful that my YouTube ideas are effective. And really, I just want a place to store information. And there's not a lot of videos about the game. So I want to create like regular content for this game because it's such an important game that should be bigger than it is. Have you posted any videos yet, or are you in the editing phase still? I posted my first video on Friday, I think. And then the next video is coming out tomorrow. So yeah. If you look down in my bio, or if you type in !YouTube, you should get the link. Let's see, there's one video up of Kind Words. She posted it in Discord. Oh yeah, I subscribed to an OnlyFans, but just to view typing. Oh my gosh, that is a great idea. That is a great idea. Although it kind of conflicts with the PG-13 theme I'm going for. I'd have to find a different outlet for that, like Patreon. I'd have to do Patreon and just submit clips of me typing. Audio or video. You can like subscribe to the audio only tier or the video tier, which is a little more expensive. That would be fun. That would be fun. I'll save that for the future. And I hate change. I don't know how to help someone who hates change. I've never had to do that because I embrace change because it's necessary for growth and development. It improves the plot of your life. I'm not super afraid of it, but I'm anxious about setting goals for myself more than anything. I struggle with that because I really have a defeatist attitude in some ways of if you don't try, you don't fail. And I just have to be more patient with myself in trying things, even if it's temporary for a while. Like yoga and an exercise like routine in the mornings, eating healthy, things like that. Like I can do better. I've done better, and I will do better. I just have to do. I just have to do the doing. I was gonna say, change is all I know, so my suggestion was to take it as a new beginning, a chance to create new memories. Okay, that's a good one. Air control. See this as a new beginning. Alrighty. Kay writes, my house flooded about a month ago and I miss home. It's scary to think I'm going to go back and everything will be different. From the walls to the countertops, it's all new and I hate change. I just wish I could go to my room. That's gotta be difficult to cope with, but I'm so confident you will find comfort soon in the new space. Once your things are put into place, it should eventually start to feel like home again. Just be patient with yourself and work with the new environment to improve on the old. Try painting your walls the old color or doing something new with them altogether. Make the change your choice in little ways to help deal with the large changes that were outside of your control. See this as a new beginning that you can put your own stamp on. Enjoy! See if I can find something that's really, like... Okay, that's almost like a... No, it's like a soda can. New beginnings. New beginnings. Who reads new beginnings? Cake! It's like aging up. New beginnings. Yay! diciendo. True, look at all the born-in JWs terrified of the outside world. I can't imagine being in that bubble. You can count on me to deliver this letter. Oh no, I can't read this. Ricky? Is EXO here? Oh, I want to read this, but I don't know what it says. Muchas veces siento que las personas me utilizan para descargarse de sus problemas conmigo, y lo que pasa es que ellas se quedan tranquilas y yo preocupado y cargado de sus problemas. I tried. Time to bust out the Google Translate. To the Googles! Tranquilas, tranquility, that's the vibe I'm getting. Tranquilo is tranquility, so yeah, I'm thinking so. I like this song. It makes me think of video game music. Where's Ricky when we need him? Luke's on it. Oh, thank you. You want me to go back? Do you need me to go back? Did you screenshot it? What do I do? Many times I feel that people use me to unburden themselves of their problems with me, and what happens is that they remain calm and I am worried about their problems. That's what it says. Oh my gosh, Luke, you're the best. Thank you. Oh, wow. Oh, I actually have an answer to that, but it's in English. I guess that's okay. Oops, wrong one. Okay, so the hard part is to not let yourself be burdened by the worries of the people you're supporting. You can definitely, because the idea about people's baggage and helping people carry their baggage is that you don't take the burden off of them. You don't help them carry the baggage literally. You'll look at the baggage when they tell you about it and you can see it because it's an invisible wound, this baggage, and when you see it, you can tell them how to better carry the baggage rather than helping them carry the baggage. This person is helping other people with their baggage, helping carry, when in reality they need to be teaching them how to carry by being supportive, by being empathetic, by being present when people present their baggage to you. You don't have to cross into that threshold where you're worrying about someone else's problems that don't concern you. You're worrying for somebody else. You're taking on the anxiety that's somebody else's responsibility to manage, and that wastes a day. So I hope this person knows how to get Google Translate going. I don't know if you can like select and copy text, so they might have to like screenshot and type into Google Translate. So I'm gonna do my best. I'd imagine this person is someone people often vent their problems to, and it's negatively affecting them. They're probably very empathetic and take on others' worries very easily. Can relate. That's spot on. I like that. They need to set their personal boundaries so they can choose whether that's something they can handle at the time, too. Yes. Let's see here. How do I want to present this information? Thanks, Google Translate. Setting healthy... Is that how you spell healthy? Yeah. Healthy. Setting healthy boundaries for yourself. Setting healthy boundaries for yourself as an empathetic person who wants to help others is vital for your well-being. Help their friends find resources to help them further over just continuing to take on those stresses. Yes. And the same goes for them researching into those resources to manage the worry that they're currently carrying for the people around them. Because it's more than just stopping people from dumping their baggage on you. It's also a matter of repairing the damage from carrying other people's baggage with you. That comes first and foremost. Like, it's stop the baggage from landing on you through a comfortable barrier, a boundary. Set a boundary. Don't let it get crossed. If it gets crossed, distance yourself from the person so they don't cross it again. And if it gets crossed again, leave the person. That's like my rule, is to step back, let people make their mistakes, step back, give them a chance to redeem themselves. And if they continue to overstep boundaries, that just tells me they're that kind of person, and then I just leave. Or if I see patterns with people that seem kind of toxic, I don't like that either. But yeah, setting boundaries is super important. So researching on how to set boundaries for yourself, and then finding resources to guide people to is a really good bit of advice, yes. I don't know. The only toxic I'm okay with is the Britney Spears kind. Same. What a bop. Yeah, he likes to dig. Cool. So, oh boy. I'm gonna read the English translation of this. Many times Jay writes, many times I feel that people use me to unburden themselves of their problems with me, and what happens is that they remain calm and I am worried about their problems. Thanks, Google Translate. Setting healthy boundaries for yourself as an empathetic person who wants to help others is vital for your well-being. Research methods for setting those boundaries and learning how to manage anxiety that is being generated by the stress of others. Their problems are not your own. Do not burden yourself with their chosen reality. Focus on yourself first and foremost, and then offer aid to those in need, but get yourself squared away first. Your mental is a number one priority. Don't let others make you make it number two. Let me capitalize your mental is a number one priority. There we go. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time to think about a stranger. I'll rush this right over. You can count on me to deliver this letter. Okay. Let's see. Recently, I've been struggling with eating. I've been getting a bit bulimic and too obsessed with my weight and image. I say that I have complete control and can stop any time, but is that how I fall deeper into the hole? Yes. Yes, it is. Because your attempts to control something that is naturally supposed to happen on its own for you to survive, when you try to control that, it's like trying to control a cat. Good luck. Like a stray alley cat that doesn't like to be touched. Trying to control that, it's gonna lead to some wild results. And humans, the way our stress is set up, we turn to the external pressures of the world to dictate how we treat ourselves. And being obsessed with your image based on what society is telling you is appropriate or attractive or valid, human even. The best way to control the anxiety around all of that and not feeling adequate enough to be worthy of existing as you are, you try to control the next best thing, and that's your eating, or your buying, or your drinking, or your ingestion of drugs, or your exercise, or to the point where there's massive change to who you are as a person. A lot of that comes from external circumstances and past experiences and trauma, and people need to dissect where that comes from and not try to change the symptom, but get to the root cause. Again, you have to look at the wound to see that there's still a bullet in it. And people aren't looking at the wound. They're looking everywhere else on their body except for where the pain is coming from. So hopefully I can convey that to this person. Getting 15 minutes of warm weather and suddenly forgetting about ideations. Exactly. A little sunlight goes a long way. We're indoors a lot as humans, which is very abnormal for our species. We're going against nature, and I think we're suffering because of it, through deficiencies in both our diet and the quality of food we're now ingesting, now that soil erosion has gotten to a point where there's no nutrition in the soil, and it has to be artificially added. That's sad. Like, how hard is it to just compost all the food waste? Why is that so difficult to do? Why aren't we composting the food waste? Why doesn't everybody have worms growing in their front yard? Like, we could be doing things so differently. Black gold. I've purged a lot of the things around me that make me feel inadequate, such as what shows up on my social feed and the imagery in my home and even the clothes I have in my closet. Food trauma and disorders are so difficult to deal with. Professional help is always recommended, but not always obtainable. But finding little ways to fall back in love with yourself as you are helped me. But my issue was mostly environmental. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I read that wrong. I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait a minute. No, that wasn't a compliment to me. That was a statement. I read that wrong. Bless my heart. Yeah, my environment had to change after I was done with the bone processing, because it was a different version of me that the environment I was in on the internet and in my home did not resonate with my spirit anymore, and everything had to change. And it did. I left Facebook for the most part. I check in like once a quarter, give or take, and I use it for Messenger, and that's about it. And my house, my home, this decor I live in is brand new. It's brand new to me, because I didn't get to live like this until I moved into the house that I'm in now. Where I lived for a while, and my walls weren't livable. They were very dense walls made of concrete, and they were textured, and the paint was kind of like, no matter what paint we put on it, the texture of the walls made it so that tape, sticky gum, and those things couldn't stick to it, and tacks couldn't go through it. So there was no way for me to put up posters or tapestries or lights or anything like that. So I lived a very sparse existence, and I compensated that by taking up every available surface in my room with knickknacks and coverage, because I like stuff in a lot of places. Like, I have one of my dressers is just covered in stuff, but it's aesthetically pleasing and it's not too crowded. It's just there's like blank spots where I can put stuff down on there and everything, but I like clutter a little bit, but only on surfaces, not on the floor, not on the bed, preferably not at the desk, and I've gotten pretty good at keeping my desk relatively free of debris, now that I have drawers, so that's nice. It's changing up your environment to match the new you is just as important as changing up the environment that you've cultivated with your peers and the people you have around you. they're both equally important. Like, you need a nest, a place to, a home base. You need a home base. Everybody needs a home base. However they ground themselves, wherever their happy place is. For me, my happy place is my room. Everybody needs a home. Everybody needs a home. And their home should match who they are, so that they are happy there. That's solid advice. Changing what you consume in your daily life makes a huge difference. Huge difference. My depression, like, all but fixed itself the second I stopped consuming news and social media from my 20s that I had crafted, that I had what's the word I'm looking for? Curated, that I'd curated for myself. Just a lot of stuff that made me feel awful all the time. So I just left. I was like, I don't have time to sort through all this. I love you, but gotta go. And I moved to Instagram, and because it's a simpler format where you can get some information that crosses over from Twitter, and but mostly it's just pictures and captions that are educational for the most part. Like, I follow Nature is Metal because I love animals, and I love seeing the reality of nature and its brutality. So I love Nature is Metal because it's like, I love metal music, and I love gore. So when I see horrible things happening in these videos and pictures, or regal animals in states of destruction, like missing eyes, but like with really cool scars and like really grisly looking manes, like on the lions, it's just so cool to me. I love seeing nature in all its guts and glory. And that's the type of stuff I like to consume on my social media now, is like stuff that makes me happy. Because that's really important. I don't need to consume toxicity. And the stuff that I was consuming was really toxic to me. And I don't need that. I don't need that. I've set a healthy boundary. And when I set boundaries with people, depending on the person, I can just walk away. No problem. Because I was barely there to begin with. I'm one of those people who likes to hang out on the edges of my relationships. I have a couple of relationships, and then I have a couple of relationships that are super tight, and then I have a few relationships that are a little less tight than that, and then I have a healthy handful or two of relationships on the outer ring of this Attack on Titan ring of safety from the Titans relationship status. I have 3 rings of friends, and like the super inner circle, a mid circle, and an outer circle, and then there's just acquaintances, a sea of acquaintances surrounding it all. So be careful who you keep around you, because you mirror the people around you. You learn from them and their experiences. So depending on their experiences will depend on the things you learn from them by being in cahoots. Like, my inner circle, they taught me how to set boundaries, or how to adhere to boundaries, and how to feel like I can communicate my feelings to a person and be understood. Like, my inner circle that I keep close, they're people who don't misunderstand me on purpose or unintentionally. They generally understand where I'm coming from, and that's really important for me because I don't always understand where I'm coming from, and sometimes I would like a little help with that. And I get insight from my inner circle, and they help me develop and grow as a person. The people in the second tier around the inner circle, they are like my day oneers, and people who I share my life experiences with, not intimately is not the right word, but vividly, I guess you could say. 'Cause I like to be vague about a lot of stuff when I'm on the internet, but with like this circle of friends, I'm more vivid about my descriptions and my storytelling and things like that. And then the circle outside of that are people who are technically part of the second tier, but I treat them like I treat acquaintances, where I don't reach out to them on purpose. I let them reach out to me. And then acquaintances are just like general queries rather than deep probing questions. These are people who I don't mind having deep conversations with in person, because I respect their opinions, I respect their minds, I respect their lives, especially, and I like them a lot, but not to the point where we're in the same social circles that I'm currently running in, so we don't cross paths enough to really be super close, but there's a lot of love and affection there. It gets shown a lot less regularly than the second tier. So first tier, second tier, third tier, acquaintance pool. Friendship is complicated. Environment changes can completely change your mood and mindset. I think we should all do a deep remodel every now and then. Yes, I agree. Facts. Instagram is the social media I'm on the most, and I'm curated a lot of creative and spiritual content. And since I love pretty things and clothes, I follow creators who have similar bodies to mine. See, that's a good idea. That's how I used to curate my Tumblr. I followed people that reminded me of myself, or looked like me, or thought like me, or liked the same things I liked, and I made a Tumblr account out of that, and I went from self-loathing, self-hatred like you wouldn't believe, to this. And I think Tumblr was a huge help in healing the inaccurate portrayal of Black women, Black people, and stereotypes that are seen as that were spouted as facts in the 90s and thousands. Unlearning all of that, all it took was a curation on Tumblr. It was really simple. That was my go-to advice for a lot of people was, have you been on Tumblr? We all need to be the Levi of our own rings. Oh, yes. Yes, exactly. I ended up blocking most of the plastic media moguls so that way there isn't any chance of that coming across my feed. It's mostly spiritual and self-help and gardening these days. It's become a much more positive space. Yep. That's how we should be treating the internet, as a place to chase our passions rather than be aware of our reality. Like, we can dream online, so we might as well do it. It's wild that there's still so many spaces that are so toxic. Honestly, I never got on Instagram because I feel it goes against one of my most fundamental beliefs. Taking photos of everything, I don't believe in it. That's fair. I'm 100% for taking photos of everything. I'm not going to get old one day and say, gee, wish I didn't document all these awesome moments, but I have a hard time with emotional regulation and processing situations in my life. I tend to forget about the good things I experience, which is interesting because you remember more of the good experiences than I do, like the ones we've shared. Your memory of them is so astute. Mine is rough. I remember doing stuff and seeing artists, but for the most part, it's very blurry. My memory's always been a bit of a problem because it doesn't retain the good stuff the way I'd like it to. It retains feelings and not visualizations like it does everything else. Like when it comes to remembering, useless information, I have like Venn diagrams and graphs and like GIFs and just there's so much going on to know that information, and I can't apply that to like going to California and seeing Miyavi with Deli. Like, this is messed up. I can't see all of it. We were drinking at the time, so that's partly why. But I don't remember stuff as clearly as I'd like to that I really, really want to remember. I just remember a feeling of it happening. And that is so vague and it's so not me. And I wish my memory was a little different. Just a little bit. Nothing makes me antsier than watching 6 people all film a family member while singing happy birthday. Oh my gosh. I'm all for saving the special stuff like photos on a trip or on a special day, but I think they have a time and place. I hate how it separates folks from the moment. It doesn't bother me if it doesn't take the individual away from the moment itself. That's fair. Before I switched to English, I wanted to be a photojournalist and spent a good portion of my 20s heavily into photography, so I think I have a very different perspective. I do get annoyed when it seems performative or that the person is doing it for others and not themselves, but for me, I engage in a situation better when I'm bringing my creativity to capturing it. And there's something very creative about capturing moments because you have a very unique eye for how that is perceived, that moment is perceived, and photograph is a great way to capture that eye. Then again, I can capture the moment fairly quickly and don't need to be consumed in the documentation for too long. Exactly. I'm the same way when it comes to pictures. People are like, all right, take the picture. I'm like, I took 6, here you go. They're like, what? It's like, nope, we're getting back into it. I think a lot of it has to do with what people share too. Like, people's lives are on social media. Where's the privacy? What's that? Yeah, I don't trust any of those family bloggers, for instance. That's super weird. There's always dirty laundry coming out with those family bloggers and people having babies for monetary gain. Yikes, Monka S. I wish I could remember to take more pictures. I try so hard to be in the moment that I forget to document. Yep, I can relate to that. I took some pictures the last time I went out with friends, and I think I'd taken pictures with them maybe twice, and we've been out in the course of our friendship like 30 times. So my documentation rate is very low, so I can relate. My memories are vivid, but how I feel about them isn't always clear. I feel like writing about it, taking photos sometimes helps me with that. Absolutely. That's a quiet way to excavate emotional baggage. Art is a great way to express that. I guess to sum it up, I don't have any qualms with the documenting as much as I do the sharing with the world. I feel like some stuff is special. Social media taints special stuff for me. I get that. I stopped documenting everything because I realized I never go back to look at the hundreds of blurry concert photos and videos. I do enjoy all the memories I shared with good friends that no one documented. It makes it more special. Yeah, I really respect that. I really do. I forget so much that I have to document to remember. I go back and look at my pictures a lot. Probably like a lot for me. Probably like 6 times a year I'm in my pictures. And I have thousands of pictures. Saved from the internet. A lot is most of them. But then I have like a huge chunk that are pictures I have saved of my friends from their social media profiles that I thought were just great representations of them as people. And I wanted to conserve and preserve the memories that I could from the photos, because I sometimes have a hard time recalling stuff without some sort of physical marker. I don't think about the experiences I had with my friends until I go back through the pictures and I see where we were. I see who we were and what age and what era. And that helps me recall the experience, because I can't trust my memory. I've never been able to. I've always been hypervigilant because everything has always felt off. Everything is felt off because I can feel energy, and the beginning of my life was very off for me. I've always been able to feel energy, and it peppers the way I view the world, in that I'm super sensitive to stuff. which is again why I don't tolerate toxicity in my life anymore, because it's very painful in like a painless way. It's a complicated way to explain pain, but it hurts. It hurts. It hurts to be around toxicity. But it's hard to always know what toxicity is. Makes sense. It feels like it can take the intimacy of a moment sometimes. See, I actually do go back and look at all that stuff. There was a study somewhere that was about how concert goers who record take pics of most of the show tend to not remember the experience compared to the ones who stayed off their phones. Yep, that makes sense. When I'm at concerts, generally my phone gets put away. I depending on the band, like how likely I'll be able to see them again, or how necessary it is to share their content with others because people need to know they exist because they're that good. I will take a song that I really like and snag a clip. If I record the whole thing, that's because I'm in a quiet environment, like an acoustic set, and I can hold still and people aren't getting in the way. Like, that's a different thing. But at a concert, I just take a clip. I take a Twitch clip, and then I put my phone away again. Like, I try to stay off my phone at concerts because A, it might get knocked out of my hand, B, it might have a beer spilled on it, and C, I don't need it. I'm being entertained. I just want to experience that. People who stay on their phone the entire time don't make sense to me. I might take 1 or 2 vids, but I'm definitely not just standing completely still watching the show through my phone. Exactly. I'm watching the stage. Unless it's too far, then I'm probably zoomed in on my phone. I was like that when I was younger, but now I can hardly remember to take any pics. That makes sense. I didn't take a single photo of the entire trip we took to LA, but I could recall the entire trip by memory, and I think the stories mean more to me than the photos would have. Plus, I was hungover and a hot mess, and I'm glad there were no photos. There is one photo. I took a photo of us at the car at one point, and I don't remember what you looked like. I don't think you looked bad. I think you looked fine. Because I thought it was a pretty good picture of everybody. If I remember correctly. I'll have to look it over. I wonder when was the LA trip? Because if it's like an anniversary, I should totally post that picture in the group chat. Going to bed. Good night, fam. Night, Ruby. Yeah, I'm gonna head out soon too. I'm just gonna answer this one, and then we're gonna wrap up. In tubes has my weight and image. I say that I have complete control and stop anytime, but is that how I fall deeper in level? It sure is, Buttercup. That's how addiction and habits form. I have control here, not the substance action. Decisions for yourself. Bamboozled! Don't be bamboozled. Oh my gosh, I sure did say that. I feel that way about Taco Bell. When we were poor, my best friend's mom worked there and used to sneak us extra food in the drive-thru. That is so nice. Like, my first boyfriend in elementary school, like, I think he was my only boyfriend as a child, now that I think about it. Yeah, I had one boyfriend as a kid, and it was this guy. And his mom worked at Subway. And he would give me some of his sub. Like, if I was still hungry, because I'm always hungry. I've always been hungry. I have a fast metabolism that I'm constantly testing and not improving on. it just makes me hungry. I think I might have hypoglycemia or something because I have to always eat. It's always been that way. And he would give me some of his sandwich, even though it was his sandwich, and he came from a poor background, so I feel like that was one of like the main meals he would get. I just kind of had a feeling that his life was really hard behind the scenes, because I'm attracted to people who have a sad history, unfortunately. I'm very sensitive to that and empathetic to people who come from hard backgrounds, which is probably why I loved him so much. His life felt very difficult, and he made up for that in humor, just like I did, but he was even better at it than me, and so I was like, I love this guy. I had deep-rooted feelings for him when I was a kid, and I was heartbroken when I had to move, and we broke up. Well, we never actually broke up, we just never saw each other again. But yeah, the last experience with him was really interesting. Sad. A little sad. Bittersweet. And kind of gross. But not to me. I'm sure he felt embarrassed by how we left things in some regard. And it's like, no, man. You're still cool to me. That doesn't bother me. Honestly, I have a hard time being around people who have no intense trauma. Okay, why would I bother? We have nothing in common. I don't know what to talk to you about, because you don't have to live a life anything remotely like mine. And that disillusionment, that distance between us is so vast that I don't want to experience your energy around me. If you've never been through hard times or trauma, I don't know what to do with that. I really don't. Because this is all I know. Hardship and pain and triumph and phoenix risings and growth. Trees blossoming in the wind. It's nice. Has anybody seen Inuyasha? The way they view the world is just crazy. It's just crazy to me. Where is the spice? The flavor? Spice. I was friends with a guy for a while who was just like there. Like happy childhood, good relationships, no big changes or issues, and talking to him about just basic everyday stuff was a trip. You know I've seen Inuyasha. I know you've seen Inuyasha. Did you ever get a chance to read my fan fiction about Inuyasha? I wrote a fan fiction about Sesshomaru with an original character that I created that was totally based off of like the adult version of me someday. And because I always put myself in my stories, but not really. I put someone who's based off of me in my stories because it's easier for me to base all of my characters off of somebody real, so that I can see them in my head clearly. Because if I can't visualize the character, because I can't make faces up out of nothing, they have to be based off of somebody. So I pick rock stars, I pick movie stars, I pick models, I pick friends, and I base characters off of them when I try to write stories. It's so much easier. It's like a life hack. People without trauma are like people who think black pepper is spicy. We out here popping habaneros. I think I read some of it, but not all of it. There is no all of it. I never finished it, so you're all good. Let's see here. Kay writes, recently I've been struggling with eating. I've been getting a bit bulimic and too obsessed with my weight and image. I say that I have complete control and can stop anytime, but is that how I fall deeper into the hole? It sure is. That's how addiction and habits form. I have control here, not the substance action. But in reality, if you were in control, you'd be making healthy and logical decisions for yourself. We all would. But it's so easy to slide down the slippery slope of I can stop when I want to, when you never try to stop, just to see if you even can. Your health is important, and no good comes from quick schemes to get thin. You're harming yourself on purpose for the acceptance of others. You are worth more than that. Don't be bamboozled. I wish EXO was here. Don't be bamboozled. Who do we want to represent this? Ooh, cake. Eat the cake. Eat the cake. Keep eating and keep it down. You got this. Yeah. You got this. You can count on me to deliver this letter. Cool. Okay, I think I'm done for today. Because that took hours. It took a little longer than I initially intentioned. Title. Thanks guys for helping me with kind words. That was nice. I'm glad we gave these people some advice. I heard something that blew my mind recently, that there are people who haven't experienced trauma, and someone replied and said, how is that possible? And they said, you can have things bad happen to you, but if you have a good support system and a means to deal with it, you won't be traumatized by it. And I was like, what? That happens? Present adults? What is this sorcery? Kind words always makes for good times and good discussions. I agree. I love kind words. I love kind words on stream. It's great on my own because I can just kind of spitball and figure stuff out on my own at my own pace. But on stream, I get your guys' input, and it adds so much. It's spice. It's spice to the meat. It's spice to the vegetables. It's spice to the rice. It's spice to the rice. We're offering these people rice, and you guys add spice to that. You're spice to the rice. Sustenance in the form of rice grains. Fags. I just assumed all bad situations ended in trauma. Exactly. That's what I thought too. But I've learned so much today. But after hearing that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Imagine how kids of shrinks and psychologists turn out. Interesting from what I've gathered. I think I've met a couple I know of a guy whose mother is a psychologist and or therapist, and they don't always turn out so great, unfortunately, because a lot of people, they get into mental health and psychology to fix stuff, when in reality they just need to observe stuff and adapt to the new information gained. Can I offer you some seasoned rice in these trying times? Yes, Uncle Ben's. Being able to cope with stuff in a healthy way, at least if they help them develop them. Doesn't always help. Yeah. Like, it doesn't always help. Because trauma changes people. And if someone experiences trauma, no amount of coping skills when you're a kid are going to save you from spiraling out of control. And sometimes you get stuck in a loop based on your trauma. Like if you lose a parent or a sibling or an animal really early on in your childhood, like that changes you and changes the trajectory of everything you knew and everything you will know. You forget a lot of stuff when you're traumatized, and you remember a lot more. And because like trauma sets people into like PTSD makes you hypervigilant, and it affects your memory. It affects how you remember stuff. Unfortunately, there are a good number of therapists who become therapists because they needed a therapist. Yes, exactly. I went into the behavioral health field because I needed behavioral health, you know? Being adopted, I knew I was going to need some help. So I was like, I better understand what I'm going to need for the rest of my life if I'm going to utilize it to the extent that I'm going to need to utilize it. So I had to know the ins and outs of the system, and now I know how billing works. I understand codes and how totals are calculated for the cost of services, and credentialing for doctors across state lines. And it's just, I know a lot of stuff about the mental health field and healthcare now. but not a whole lot, because I don't care. I don't care that much, because I'm very surface level when it comes to learning information. It's even harder when the trauma started at pretty much birth. We have no frame of reference to go back to. The work is basically completely changing the way you're wired, and that ain't easy. Girl, you ain't lying if you ain't crying. True. My trauma started at birth. My trauma started before birth, technically. A terrible thing happened to me before I was born, and I know about it, and that's really sad for me. So when you start your life off in trauma, which is why I'm so against circumcision for people, when you start your life off in trauma like that, it changes you. It changes you. It makes you into a different version of yourself. Yeah, it's like, it's not even necessary evils, it's just unhappy accidents that are intentional. Whoa, sounds heavy. It is. It is. I try not to fixate on what I could have been without all of it, but it does come up. But that's why I'm glad I've gravitated toward people who get that. Yeah. Wondering the what ifs. I totally get that. I don't indulge in it like I used to because it's counterproductive. And I accept that. So eventually it just seemed illogical to keep up with that habit, and I worked it out of my system. Because I have no control over what didn't happen. I have no control over what did happen. Because what happened, happened. And the key word there is ED, and that it occurred in the past. And you can't change any of that. You can only look at and assess and learn from and grow in response to it if you want to do something constructive. So, hyper-focusing on the what-ifs slows down progress greatly. So I had to do away with that for myself. Plus, it's something that'll never truly go away. It's almost easy to go dig those things up and dwell in them, and ain't nobody got time for that. Girl. I make time for it. I get why most people don't, but I make a lot of time to do that. It's recreational for me. A big theme of my life lately has been people negating that my trauma even happened. Ooh. It's exhausting feeling like I have to prove to others I have PTSD from all the things that happened to me when others are telling me I don't. I'm thankful for people like y'all in the chat that understand. Yes. Your experience is valid. PTSD is no joke. It's... when people think of PTSD, they immediately think of, the troops when they come back from war, and they have terrible nightmares and high anxiety and impulsivity and things like that, and instability, mental health issues, and alcoholism, and drug abuse, and blah 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 blah. PTSD affects anybody, not just people who've been to war. And for some reason, our country views PTSD as a very narrow scope of trauma when it affects people broadly. And a lot of people are walking around with undiagnosed symptoms of PTSD. A lot of people. Because trauma is like one of the things that bonds most humans together. We've all been through something. With asterisk. Some exceptions to the rule. But the general standard is we've all experienced at least one traumatic event by the time we're a certain age, if not way sooner. And it has to do with your perception of the world. Some people who've never experienced trauma, not only do they have healthy foundational structures in place and support systems, they probably don't perceive their trauma in a way that people who don't have those things do. I feel like rose-tinted glasses. I feel like they might see the world differently than people who don't have the support structures in place to deal with trauma. Oh, I'm sorry you're experiencing that. I know that story too well, but I'm glad the chat helps. Even a little validation goes a long way. Absolutely. It's like a little life raft. We're on the life raft. We're just throwing you a reservoir. Reservoir? No. Reserve. Preserver. Preserver. Life preserver. We're throwing you a preserver. I know words. I get them. I get them. My trauma looks at me like this. I wish I knew what this meant. Somehow I know what this means. Hey, that's all that matters. And on that note, I'm gonna go. I'm running out of water and I have to go to the bathroom. Thanks guys for playing Kind Words with me. I think we're gonna do this every Monday. Seasoned rice for Kind Mondays. I like that. Me floating in a pool with my donut raft, processing my trauma in a chill guy way. Exactly! Thanks for the stream! You're welcome. Thanks, Sally. It's wild when random strangers on the internet offer me more validation than people I've been friends with for years. Isn't that weird? Isn't that... Why do you think I hang out here so much? I appreciate the people here so much compared to, like, some of my family members. And it's wild. It's wild. You guys are so nice. Thanks for the stream. It's been amazing. Oh, I'm glad you guys were here. Kind Words Mondays. Kind Words Mondays. Bro, this is my weekly group therapy. Exactly. This is group therapy. This is group therapy with no structure. Just a general vibe that we want to abide by. This was so lovely. 10/10 would recommend to everyone except those who aren't spicy. No milk toast allowed. Great seeing you on as always. Thank you, Mickey. I'm glad you guys were all here. This was so nice. What's today? Monday. So I will be back tomorrow. Same time, same network. And don't do it, Deli. Do what? Are you projecting? Oh god. Okay, dude. Good night. Good night, my creepy friend. You're so uncomfortable to me. I don't know how I talk to you. This is so weird. You're so strange.